Okay, everyone, it is His Divine Excellency, Lord Ambassador Dr. Michael Alexander Barton, and I'm here again to give you a little bit of game. So recently, we have been applying for all kind of passports and various other legal documents and going through processes, getting hiccups, having to fix things, change things, and I've been in a lot of administrative paperwork. So I want to show you guys something that you will never see again, and no one will ever tell you. No one will be able to show you either. Well, first off, I've already demonstrated to you guys that child support is not legal. That's something that you consent to, and if you don't break the assumption that you consent, then you will continue to pay child support. I'm dealing with 3 child support cases myself, and I'm just going to show you guys a little bit about the way the law works. Now, child support is a situation that will prevent you from doing many things, including applying for a passport. So I am not the name, I control the name. And I got a letter in the mail that said something to the effect of I would not be able to get a passport unless I prove that I actually I'm not on some kind of list and I don't owe child support. So here's what I want you guys to see was done. First off, the right to travel is an unalienable right that you were given from God. The Constitution predates the formal legal system. The legal system is founded on the Constitution. The legal system functions as it should, as a legal entity. A lot of the times, no, not a lot of the times, all times, unless you're in the Supreme Court, Constitution is not a consideration. When you see your constitutional rights are being removed from you, you can act by removing that to arbitration, and or you can deal with the system on the legal level. If you want to deal with them legally and fight them with their own things, then you do this. Well, I was recently given a denial. I had to respond to them within 90 days with something that they wanted from me, or they are actually going to refuse to give me my passport. I don't agree with that. And when I say this is something I control. So I'm speaking to the things I control. So let's say that, this is a passport that I actually wanted. I would have to actually show why they did something wrong in their process or how they got something wrong. That's actually how you do it. So let me share my screen and demonstrate to you this. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys a little bit of game. This is one of the exhibits that I use, or I will be using in a document that I will be sending, which is a counterclaim to the Department of State, the passport division, right? It is proof of violations in consumer law. See, as a consumer, under the legal system, they have something called consumer law. And consumer law actually expresses how people are supposed to function in business. Well, I'm telling them that they are guilty of false and misleading representation. And the code for that is above. So here's what they did. First off, let me read to you the beginning so you get the beginning premise of this. This is called legal research. A debt collector, the passport agency, may not use false and deceptive or misleading representation or means in connection with the collection of any debt. I was denied my passport, right, which has nothing to do with child support. But because of the legal system and the corrupt conspiracy that's going on, if I have an issue with child support in the child support court, when I go to catch a plane, or if I try to drive a car, or if I do anything like that, what happens is other agencies deny me because the child support agency shared information, whether it was true or false, to these places, and these places are acting under the consideration of something that has nothing to do with them, right? So they don't let you know about that. You don't know about it beforehand. No one tells you, so they don't give you full disclosure of the contract. Then what happens is Let me read the most. Without limiting the general application of the foregoing of following conduct in violation of this section. I'm going to skip number 1, right? First off, it says the false representation or implication that a debt collector is vouched for, bonded by, or affiliated with the United States. Well, here's the thing. The United States Passport Office, right, is actually a representative of the United States. It says, or any state. On the same exact mail, it says of Dallas, including the use of any badge, uniform, or facsimile thereof. The document has literally a symbol on it, which is something that basically represents the government. And all of this is a violation. So number 1 is going to be included. Number 2, the false representation of the character, amount, or legal status of any debt. What does that mean? If you spoke to me having a specific debt, such as child support, which is considered derogatory on a person's credit report, and you actually have done something like this, you're guilty of the character part. If you say I owe, say, allegedly $150,000, you are guilty of the amount part. If you say there's an active child support case against a United States national, when nationals are exempt to all fees and all levy, the legal status that you put up on that credit report is also false. So that means you violated all parts of A. Or let's get into B. Any services rendered or any compensation which may be lawfully received by any debt collector for collection of a debt. So basically what they're saying is you promised to provide me a passport, and basically you took my money and then you solicited for the collection of someone else's debt and told me I'm going to be denied services if I don't pay the other person first. That is illegal, and it's against consumer law. So, just number 1 and number 2, which number 1 I will highlight. Number 1 and number 2, they're all the way dirty. Number 3, the false representation or implication that an individual is an attorney or that any communication is from an attorney. Now, the notice that they sent me, right, is a legal notice. And at the very bottom of it, it is not signed. But it is a legal notice because it is actually here official, and it also has government seals and insignia and all of this. It is a legal notice. So in general, number 3, they're actually guilty of that. Number 5, the threat to take any action that cannot legally be taken or that is not intended to be taken. Okay, so I'm going to stick with the first part, legally be taken. I have the unalienable, meaning coming from God, right to travel. They can't place a lien on something that was given to me from God. Therefore, they're out of pocket, and therefore I can sue, because that's a violation of my rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It also is a denial of my basic right to locomotion, freedom of locomotion, moving around, right to travel, walk, run, ride a bike, skateboard, roll, whatever I want, ride a horse, go on the boat. You can't seize that because you feel someone owes child support. So number 5, that's done too. So we're going to jump to number 7, the false representation or implication that a consumer committed any crime or other conduct in order to disgrace the customer. So what they do by actually posting these things on your credit report, right? If I can prove that that's on my credit report, and I can actually prove that that was actually done, and it was done to disgrace me, which is to publicly defame me, then I would actually prove the disgrace. Also, I would have to get a specific affidavit give to them to prove that as well. Number 8, communication communicating or threatening to communicate to any person credit information which is known or which should be known to be false. So whether it's true or false, including the failure to communicate that a disputed debt is disputed. So for example, let's say if I have an alleged child support case that has been disputed on my credit report, if things have been sent to the court itself, if all those things have been done, and they actually put that up and fail to actually put up that it's been disputed, they're also guilty of an intentional harm and a violation against me for such a thing. All of those are things I have proven right now. So number 9, let's move on. The use or distribution of any written communication, which is a notice to me by mail, which simulates or falsely represented to be a document authorized, issued, or approved by a court, official, agency of the United States or state. Well, I did get it from the passport people. Or which creates a false impression to its source, authorization, or approval. You see, because it's not signed, they give me a false impression to where the source of the information is coming from in the passport agency. You understand? So they're guilty of all of that. Now we get to number 10. The use of any false representation or deceptive means to collect or attempt to collect any debt or to obtain information concerning a consumer. Now, not only did they basically attempt to collect the debt for the child support agency, which is specifically Health and Human Services, right? The Department of Health and Human Services was named in their letter. Now, they also have been asking questions and asking me to give them additional information about social security numbers and other information that is not legal for them to solicit for. It's against the law, if you guys don't know, for someone to ask you for your social security number, right? That might be a form of threat, duress, coercion, and attempted identity theft. There's a lot of things going on with that. So, you know, for me, my understanding, these are the things that they're going to have to actually turn around. Now, we also have a couple of more, which I'm not really going to focus on, but a couple of them honorable mentions: the false representation or implication that documents a legal process, right? 13 would be good. The use of any business, company, or organization name other than the true name of the debt collector, right? The debt collector in this case is the passport place, not the child support place, but they use the child support place's name in their business to actually deny me my basic right. So number 15, the false representation or implication that documents are not legal process forms or do not require action by a consumer, right? That didn't happen. The false representation or implication that the debt collector operates or is employed by a consumer reporting agency as defined by this section, that didn't really happen either, but they're acting. See, they're borderline because what they're doing is they're reporting information that they're talking about from somewhere else that I didn't ask. So all in all, everything written here, I'm probably going to add number 13. I'm definitely going to add number 1. And I'm going to wrap it up there. But these are, you could use any one of these particular numbers under 15 USC 1692E. You could use 1692E 1, 2, A and B, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 is probably the first one I would have wrote up there, which is obvious. And I would go with number 13 and number 14. Those are all of the actual things I will quote in my own case, and I will be putting these down as evidence. I will be standing on this, and I'm going to put this into arbitration against the passport agency effective immediately. So this is how you do proper legal research, and this is how you turn the situation around. And in order to have a matter resolved, it must be expressed. So I have to send an affidavit of a counterclaim and an objection first. And when I do, I have to give them this evidence of the law, actually ask them to disprove it, actually ask them to validate this specific case with account level documentation as defined by consumer law. And after that, wait. Now, when they don't respond in the right time, what I will do is I will put in a lawsuit, and that lawsuit will be for a couple of $1 million, in addition to all the clear violations of consumer law that you see here. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I just wanted to display how you go in and you win, and you actually go. And even when it's the scary government, guys, understand there's rules to the game. If you understand the rules to the game, you will slip through cracks that no one else could fit into. You become Mr. Fantastic. Anyway, this is Dr. Mike the Wise giving you some game for the day on how to get your passport when you get a denial from the United States government, how you can force their hands open and take your passport and your card anyway. And you can do it the right way in arbitration. So I will be putting the documents together with this evidence as my support, and I will challenge them and ask them to prove that this evidence is false and it does not apply, and they won't be able to. So I will win. So I'm going to file for an expedited arbitration soon, and this will be going in. But anyway, this is how you get your passport, and this is how you beat them at that game. Be inspired.